So I guess I'm going to make this part one, because on this channel I didn't want to talk about atheism, but I'm going to have to. And I'm not going to talk about atheism as it is, as a lack of a belief in God. Because of that, I could care less. I know many atheists and fine people, and I imagine that even some of the people on here that profess that go into these really almost attack mode and just go off the deep end, in normal life they wouldn't act like that, in this obscene way. I don't know how one could function in I don't know, being like that. But fundamentalist atheism, which has nothing to do with the lack of a belief in God. It's attack mode, because not believing in God doesn't motivate you to do something. And that's why the other one was intro, and I'm going to make this part one. But just browsing on YouTube for the first time years and years ago, I don't know when YouTube actually started, but I was always interested in just weird stuff, So I'd gone to, I think it's Operation Clambake. It's a site about Scientology, and I thought it was awesome, probably about 10 years ago. But when then I came on YouTube, there was Tori Christman, and she's Tori Magoo 44 on here, and I had talked to her under a different name, and I had actually talked to her a lot about 3-4 years ago. But how does this tie into the fundamentalist atheists? Well, if you watch her speech in front of the CFI, the Center for Inquiry, it's a skeptics organization. I love these people who label themselves skeptic, as if it's not just a natural, inherent thing in people. These skeptics, if you listen to, you hear her talk about her time in the cult of Scientology, and then these people ask questions, and it's shocking how uninformed they are. Like, there's one guy, he says, well, you have any tactics for dealing with these people? As an ex-Christian, I have, different things in the Bible that I could point to as contradictions when people try to proselytize me, and she's like, well, no, that's nothing to do with it. That's just, she's like, no, like, she just basically almost dismissed the question. She's like, and then these people get up and they grandstand, well, how? And they're not asking a question; they're just stating this stuff. And in another one of these skeptical meetings, it was either her talking or another ex-Scientologist. It was a separate video where they were attacking this lady who was like, well, I'm a Scientologist, and she's like, I've never heard of those books, and saying that she doesn't know about this stuff about L. Ron Hubbard or these books like Piece of Blue Sky, Madman or Messiah, The Scandal of Scientology. Or not know about these bad things about L. Ron Hubbard or all these other details, and they're like, yes, you do. Yes, and the speaker, I'm not quite certain if it was Tori Christman or not, actually had to stand up for the person and said, no, she doesn't know. You're not allowed access to that information. You're off of other things, and the Scientologists usually, even if they know about the books, they'll say, well, do you believe everything you read? And, this kind of stuff. But it's amazing and it's been displayed on here on my channel in the comments, that people cannot differentiate from a religion and a cult, a mind control organization, an organization that works in mind control, deceptive tactics, that violates the UN Charter on Human Rights. And it's the astounding thing of the people who are use the label fundamentalist atheists is they're proselytizing, but their lack of knowledge. And this is the same characteristics of the fundamentalist evangelical Christian. I mean, it's easy, maybe it's not so easy for other people to see, but I am just astonished that people don't just recognize atheism as another form of Protestantism. And I'm not talking about atheism as a lack of belief in God, which is what it should be and the only thing, and not, I mean, it's not even something to talk about. It's an anti-thing. It's, you know, I mean, there's no, I mean, especially if you're saying, well, nothing happened, God never intervened in history. I mean, oh, weird. A dog trying to get in here. Oh, scratching and sniffing. No, but it's very odd. These people are very, they know, you know, I could never join a cult. You know, they don't, it's not about refuting verses in the Bible. I said I'd use the Catholic Church for this. You can go buy a catechism in the church, for the church, and there's no secret teachings. Unless you're one of the Jack Chick followers of they're actually a Babylonian cult from, you know, they're ruled by lizard people from the third dimension and getting into all this stuff, and there is secret knowledge in the secret Vatican archives and the secrets, and somebody said they tampered with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I was like, what are you? Dead Sea Scrolls were found in Israel. The Vatican didn't have the archaeological find that was at Qumran. They're in the Shrine of the Book in Israel. They're not in the Vatican archives. But it persists. The fundamentalist atheists are the people who, without knowledge, without learning, think that they can argue like, I've never read the Bible, but I can argue biblical points. Or Beelzebub is a case. Has no idea what Eastern Orthodoxy is. Then tries to argue about it. Not only me, but other people who were born into the church who know what it's about, and then will say such stupid things as, oh, what about the other people, the Baptists and the Presbyterian? Are they just not Christians? Or you guys are the only Christians? Or there's all Christians, you actually have to stand up for everything, or just you? It's like, no, it's called heresy. Like, they just, these people interject themselves into it's like a child wandering into a conversation, and then, you know, well, I think, it's like, no, you didn't hear the beginning, you don't know anything about it, go away. One of the main characteristics of these fundamentalist atheists is that they can't argue a point, because if you say, hey, look, and even if you show them that they're incorrect in what they said, they say, well, I don't believe it's all the same stuff, it's just belief in this magical blah blah blah, as if beliefs don't affect people, as if there's no difference in believing, let's say, there's a pink unicorn that flies around the universe, and every 10,000 years it comes down to Earth and disperses happiness. And we need to tell people about that. Or, my God told the prophet that we need to conquer and subdue the entire earth and subject them to 7th century law of the Arabian Peninsula. That those two things are the same. oh, well, it's just the same belief. It's a belief. No, there are different degrees. Sam Harris points out, well, being a fundamentalist, you can isn't the bad thing. It's the core tenets of what the thing is that's bad. I mean, he said you could be a fundamentalist Jain. The more of a fundamentalist Jain you become, the less we have to worry about you. Same with the Amish. Islam, the reason why fundamentalist Islam is terrifying is because they are practicing the tenets of Islam. That the core tenets of go out and conquer, spread by the sword, the religion of Islam. That's what's wrong with it. And this is the which it's kind of funny. Fundamentalist atheist. It's almost an oxymoron, but they are here, and it's. I don't know a better word to describe them. That's how they've been described in various other videos, and people seem to know what you're talking about when you say that. So this is going to be the first part into the introduction of how insane these people are. Their ravenous hate and inability to follow an argument is their goal to make the world better because they think the world is being destroyed by religion? Is their goal to try to rescue people out of what they consider things dangerous to them, dangerous mind control systems, even if they think all religions are cults, these dangerous cults? Are they trying to rescue the individual out there and say, hey, look, what about this or that? Is, trying to actually pull the person out of it? No. This is not what they do. It's a little popular thing right now, and they get up on their high horse and they go and try to go into arguments which they know nothing about. And you can see this in the question and answer at Xenu TV of Tori at CFI. It's Tori Chrisman, also known as Tori Magoo. She was Tori Bazazian. But the questions that they ask her are just, it's increasingly ludicrous. I mean, it's a group of people that sit around and call themselves skeptics. It doesn't necessarily make you a skeptic. I wonder if these people would, what about the Holocaust? See, they can attack Western religion because Western religion isn't going to attack them back. And when I say Western religion, of course, Islam is a Western religion. It is Western religion. But let's refer to American religion, Catholicism, stuff like that. They're not going to get murdered. They're not going to get killed for questioning that. Oh, you're very brave. You speak out against the Catholic Church. You're really brave. Because there's nothing that's going to happen to you. Islam, try to speak out against the Holocaust. Say, oh, well, there's no evidence for it. There's people that will kill you for saying that. Just ask David Cole if you can find him. So he had to go into hiding because of the JDL. Muhammad, print a cartoon of Muhammad. Put your name on it. These people act as if they are brave against people who, first, are nonviolent. It's one of their tenets, one of their core tenets. That don't want to fight them. And that just, well, I'm going to... it's hard to even put into words. But this is going to be part one. I promise you that the rest of the parts are going to be much more clear than this one. I just wanted to start this off because I had the other one as an intro, but I'm like, okay, I didn't really start off as an intro. So this is part one, the intro after the intro. So I'm going to go into it. And I'm going to go into basically the psychosis of these people. And it's not actually a disbelief in a God that is causing them that. It's them. It's the individual. They're the jackass. Peace to you. May God save Serbia. About 10 years ago. But when then I came on YouTube, there was Tori Christman. And she's Tori Magoo 44 on here. And I had talked to her under a different name, and I had actually talked to her a lot about 3-4 years ago. But find people. And I imagine that even some of the people on here that profess that go into these really almost attack mode and just go off the deep end, in normal life they wouldn't act like that, in this obscene way. I don't know how one could function in I don't know, being like that. But fundamentalist atheism, which has nothing to do with the lack of a belief in God. It's attack mode, because not believing in God doesn't motivate you to do something. And that's why the other one was intro, and I'm going to make this part 1. But just browsing on YouTube for the first time years and years ago, I don't know when YouTube actually started, but I was always interested in just weird stuff, so I was I'd gone to, I think it's Operation Clambake. It's a site about Scientology, and I thought it was awesome, probably 10 years. So I guess I'm going to make this part 1, because on this channel I didn't want to talk about atheism, but I'm going to have to. And I'm not going to talk about atheism as it is, as a lack of a belief in God, because of that I could care less. I know many atheists, and